Hi, I'm Jack Draper. Shout out to QualityShot Tennis.
Wimbledon is around the corner, and that means one thing. Wimbledon power rankings are here. Before you say anything, before you comment, before you get triggered, this is not the list. This list on screen at the moment is the final Roland Garros power rankings that we had. We're going to change that for Wimbledon, so stay tuned. As throughout the video, we're going to be going through it, and of course, eventually giving you guys our full 1 to 10. Before we get into it, though, remember to that like button. Do subscribe if you're new and do leave a rating or review if you're listening on a podcast platform. Wimbledon is just around the corner, as I said, and I cannot wait to get into this. But the power rankings are arguably the hardest part of content that I have to do during Wimbledon. The reason why is because the grass court season is so short. There's barely any tournaments really going on. And, you know, some players will go into Wimbledon not even playing a proper tournament, like Djokovic, who's only playing exhibitions at the moment in Hurlingham. And Alcaraz just won Queens. He's only playing the one tournament as well, on top of a couple of exhibitions. So the other grass court tournaments like Eastbourne, a lot of the top players are not actually involved. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. But yeah, we're going to get into it. Also, we have to factor in people like Kyrgios, who are going to be injured or have been injured going into Wimbledon. And the fact is, he's not played any grass court tennis. So I'm not sure. There's big question marks, I think, around his participation, although he is in the UK, but mainly around his match fitness. And there's some omissions, of course, Khachanov being a big one. He made, has made some really big strides at Grand Slams in the last year, actually, year and a half. And I think he would have been dangerous on grass. Jan Struff here as well has also pulled out. So something to bear in mind. Okay, let's then get into this. So we can start from the bottom up. I think there's some interesting people to talk about because some of these guys on here will be part of the power rankings. But I think it's fair to say that Djokovic, in terms of being a favorite, is the favorite of Wimbledon, in my opinion. The power rankings, though, take them with a slight pinch of salt. And the reason why I say that is because power rankings are not my favorites from 1 to 10. They are the players going into it with the best form, in my opinion, not just in the grass court season, but there'll be more of the other tournaments factored into that as well throughout the year. And also past performances at Wimbledon as well. So I think we can probably start at the top because I feel like that's the easiest way to start because Djokovic is going to be at the top. He's the reigning champion. He's won the 2 Grand Slams this year in Australian Open and Roland Garros. And yes, different surfaces, but he's won Wimbledon so many times. And he's looking to add another trophy to his collection. He hasn't lost on centre court since 2013. So that's just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And I'm very much looking forward to seeing how he gets on this year. I think he's a big favorite. And yeah, we'll see. But I think it's one of those things that, he has the experience and he's played so well this year in the big tournaments. It's hard to really back away from him and say that he shouldn't be number 1 in the power rankings, given that he's also won the first 2 slams. Even though he's played no grass court tournaments going into it, he's won Wimbledon doing that in the past. So I wouldn't worry about that. He's won Wimbledon 7 times, 2011, 2014, 2015, 2018, 2019, 2021, and 2022. So he's won 4 of the 2020 wasn't played, so he's won the last 4 Wimbledons, which is just ridiculous, to say the least. Absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely unreal, to be perfectly honest. The last time he didn't win it in 2017, he made the quarterfinals. 3rd round in 2016, winner in 15-14 as well. So, yeah, it's very tough. I'd say he should be number 1, so that's an easy one. Number 2, I think we can have Carlos Alcaraz, and the reason why I put him there is because he has just won Queens. He's looked pretty good doing it as well. There are still some question marks maybe around the slice and also his movement on the surface. I think he doesn't move as well on the surface as he does on clay, but that's given He's only played 11 matches on the surface, so no surprises there. He is going to be dangerous, though, with the offensive game that he has. He's also had a pretty good year as well, of course, and, yes, didn't go as far as he would have hoped in some of the slams, including, of course, Roland Garros, but, he has looked like a player who's ready to win tournaments again like he did last year. And whether he'll win a slam this year remains to be seen. Djokovic on the hunt, of course, for the Canada Slam, but he is, he's improving. And I think his grass court game's only going to get better and better. Medvedev at 3, I don't think we're going to have him there, in all honesty. He just hasn't played well enough in the lead up to convince me. There's a few players that you could potentially put in number 3, but really from 3 to 10, it's going to be like a free for all, in honesty, because it's difficult to know who really deserves to be in the top 10. And again, this is more, we're trying to go for form rather than necessarily skill even. Berrettini as well is not even going. I mean, I don't know what's happening with him, in honesty, because he's not played any matches leading up to the tournament. I'm hoping he's not going to pull out, but I would not be surprised if he does. He's, of course, the runner-up from last year. Dimino made the final of Queens. He's obviously up there. Semi-finalists of Rune and Korda. Rune has been in really good form this year as well, so he will be up there. Of course, we had Alexander Bublik win Halle, and Rublev made the final there as well. So those are two really good wins for Alcaraz and also for Alexander Bublik, who I thought played some phenomenal tennis. If he plays that type of tennis at Wimbledon, he's going to have success. I'm not saying he's going to win it, but he'll have some success. So I reckon we need to put in... Sinner has been interesting. He hasn't really done much, Yannick Sinner, in the grass court season, even though he looked really good against Djokovic, 2 sets to love up against him last year in the quarterfinals, and then lost in the end, a pretty convincing victory. Bublik beat him in straight sets or got a walkover, but he'd taken the first set anyway against Sinner. That's quarterfinals in Halle for Sinner, quarterfinals of Hertogenbosch even, sorry. And he made the quarterfinals there after beating Bublik, to be fair, so good win there in hindsight. Lost to Rusevori in the quarters. I think we'll put Rune at 3, mainly because of his form this year as well. I think he's been very good. He's been very, very solid. I don't think there's anything to suggest that he shouldn't be there. Now, 4 downwards, like Kyrgios is going to have to be in there just because of the fact that he made the finals last year. But where do we put him? Because this is more of a form guide. So I think we put him at 10 for now. And the rest we can try and figure out, I think. Because Musetti also, I thought, looked quite good against Holger Rune. Looks pretty good in some of his matches. Rublev's in there as well. Rude, I think, definitely won't be in there because he's played no grass court tennis. And he doesn't seem to be very interested in playing grass court tennis as well, in all honesty. So Tsitsipas has had an interesting grass court season as well. It's been pretty inconsistent. First round lost in Mallorca to Hanfman. Halle lost to Jarry, who's had a pretty decent couple of tournaments as well. He's looked quite good. I've been quite impressed with him this year. Won Geneva, of course, on the clay. Quarterfinals of Halle, lost to Zverev. Okay, so I think at 4, and in all honesty, I have no idea who should be at 4. From 4 to 9, I'm going in blind a little bit because there's just barely anything to go upon. Maybe they've made the quarterfinals of Halle. Hertogenbosch lost the first round to Manarino. I think maybe we'd go in Medvedev mainly just because of his form prior to Wimbledon. Obviously, didn't have a great Roland Garros, but then had a really good hardcourt swing after the Australian Open. Won quite a few matches. His game should suit the grass. It's very, very flat, but I think it's more the movement, and also I don't think he necessarily likes receiving the ball low, though. He likes to go high to low. Going low to low is not really what he's about, I think. But he'll get there. He'll get there. I think he will continue to improve his serve as well. Should be really potent on here. His net game though needs improvement on grass. Rune has a good transition game. He'll be pretty good, and we saw some signs of that at Queens. Number 5, I think again we have to take this with a pinch of salt, but I think Alexander Bublik has to be at 5, and I'll tell you why. Because that win in Halle was very, very impressive, very impressive. And the way that he played, as I said, if he plays that way at Wimbledon in a best of 5 and is able to have the endurance, I tell you what, he's going to be a massive danger, a massive danger. So I think we can put him there at 5. Sorry, even that doesn't mean I think he's going to make a quarterfinal. It just means going into this form-wise, he's red hot at the moment, and he is. Rublev, I think he can go at 6. Of course, made the final of Halle as well. He looked impressive, didn't he? He looked impressive. Dimona has had a good... he looked very good, actually, at Queens against Holger Rune. I thought I was very impressed. And on the way to that, he beat Manarino, good grass court, Schwartzman and Murray, good wins. Hertogenbosch, he wasn't as impressive. Made the quarterfinals, lost to Griekspoor, who also, of course, has won a tournament. And, made the quarterfinals of Halle. Beat her catch. That's a really good win. Her catch, should be good on grass. Won Hertogenbosch after beating Eimer, Poprin, Dimona, Rutenvoort. So I think we can put Griekspoor here. I don't really think he should be any higher than that. Number 7, Zverev. Number 8, Dimona. This is based really on the tournaments that we've been watching, right? Just outside, Rune and Norrie probably about right, to be honest. I think Tsitsipas as well. He hasn't really shown enough, in all honesty. I'm trying to think if I missed anyone. Sinner. Should Sinner be in there instead of one of these two? Maybe. I think if you look at the field, I mean, her catch is a good win though in Halle. It's a very good win. Her catch is good on grass, although his results, round of 16 Halle, hasn't played another one. Interestingly, I think we have to put Sinner in there. We'll have to put Griekspoor. Given the opposition that he played, I think it's probably fair to put him just outside. And that's it. We're done, I think. We're done. Let me know your thoughts because, look, I mean, it looks a bit weird. You're probably thinking, what? What is this? This is bizarre. Like, Bublik at 5 and whoever else. Dimona's in there. Wouldn't normally expect that, maybe. Look, we're going based mainly on form. There's a few people in there that we've been a bit cheeky with, like Kyrgios, because he made the final last year. He's going to be there or thereabouts if he's anywhere near fully fit. And on grass, it really is slim pickings because the season's just not long enough. So that's my ATP Wimbledon Power Rankings for 2023. Our final one: Djokovic at 1, Alcaraz at 2, Rune at 3, Medvedev at 4, Bublik at 5, Rublev at 6, Zverev at 7, Dimona at 8, Sinner at 9, and Kyrgios at 10. And just outside, so people that I think should have a decent Wimbledon, but maybe haven't been in the best of form to warrant being in the top 10. Cerundolo, Norrie, Tsitsipas, and Griekspoor. And yeah, I think her catch as well should be in there. Of course, he made the final of Halle last year. He's made quarterfinal of Wimbledon in the past. Dimitrov is also dangerous on grass, but Alcaraz, to be fair, tamed him pretty well. But he could be a danger to other people on grass anyway. Okay, thank you very much, guys. Stay safe and well, and we'll see you in the next video.